Hi, my name is Emily Suman, and in this presentation I'll be talking about a Year 1 science lesson I planned on animal habitats. The lesson focuses on the Australian curriculum content descriptor ACSS EDUC2024, which looks at how animals live in places that meets their needs, like food, water and shelter. It also links to AITSL standards 1.5 and 3.2, which are about planning clear lessons and supporting students with different learning needs. The learning intention is, we are learning to understand how living things meet their needs in places they live. The success criteria is, I can draw and label an animal's habitat and I can build a model using natural materials. Students had already learned about what living things need to survive and were familiar with environments like forests and backyards. I planned adjustments for two learners, Levi, who has autism, and Jesper, who is learning English as an additional language. To support all learners, I used a mix of strategies in this lesson. First, I followed the gradual release of responsibility model, which starts with teaching modelling, then doing the task together, and finally letting students work independently. I learned about this model in Module 3 and it really helped me structure the lesson clearly. I chose a drawing and loose parts building activity because it gives students multiple ways to show their learning. It supports creativity, problem solving, and hands-on engagement. This activity also allows for flexibility and differentiation, which I discuss in the next section. I kept the explanation of the activity simple for students and focused my planning on the why behind it. I used visuals like puppet animal habitat pictures and a short video. These help make the topic easier to understand and are good for students who benefit from visual learning. This approach connects to universal design for learning, which I learned about in the unit. Students also created a 3D model using sticks, leaves, and other natural items. This hands-on task gave students the chance to learn through play and movement, which is great for engagement and supports different learning styles. I included Think, Pair, Share as well to help students practice their speaking skills and learn from each other. This connects Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory, which we explored in Module 4, and shows how learning happens through social interaction. In Module 3, we looked at how planning for different learners is really important. For this lesson, I used strategies that would help Levi and Jesper take part and feel confident. Levi, who has autism, needed predictable routines, visual schedules, and a quiet place if he felt overwhelmed. I also gave him the choice to draw or build first. These adjustments focus on the learning environment and the process by giving him options that reduce anxiety. He was able to show his learning without needing to speak in front of the class. Jesper, who is learning English, was supported through visuals, gestures, and sentence starters. I paired her with a classmate who helped explain the task. These strategies adjust the process and the product, allowing her to express her understanding in a supported and flexible way. These ideas follow the universal design for learning approach we learnt in class, where we make the lesson work for everyone, not just some students. They also relate to the AITSL standard 1.5, which is about adjusting teaching to support different abilities. By thinking about what each student needed, I was able to plan a lesson that felt fair and inclusive. It also made me realize how important it is to give all students a way to take part in their own way. Formative assessment was a big part of this lesson. In Module 5, we learned that this kind of assessment helps teachers check how students are going during the lesson and make changes if needed. At the start of the lesson, I asked students to guess what animal was in a mystery bag and talk with a partner about where it might live. This gave me a quick way to check what they already knew. During the drawing and building activities, I used a checklist to see if students had included food, water, and shelter in their habitat. This checklist matched the success criteria and helped keep the task clear and fair. At the end of the lesson, students used thumbs up, sideways, or down to show how they felt about their learning. This simple tool gave them a way to reflect without needing to speak. These assessment strategies follow what we learned about assessment for learning and reflect research from Black and William about how feedback helps learning. They also connect to Module 5, which focused on using ongoing assessment in a way that supports all students. Overall, the assessment I used helped me see what students understood and gave them ways to show what they had learned. This lesson was planned using strategies we learned in the EDUC2024 unit. It links to the Australian curriculum and shows how to support students through differentiation, visual supports, hands-on learning, and assessment. By thinking about each student's needs, I created a lesson that was engaging, inclusive, and meaningful. It also gave me more confidence in how to plan for real classrooms. Thank you.